I'm going to be totally honest, I don't really have a formal intro for this video. I just love Darnell Wright, and I wanted to talk about his performance against Washington. This is a guy that I have been following since he left Tennessee. That pre-draft process, I absolutely fell in love with him and his tape. He's my biggest draft crush of all time, and I could not be happier that he is a Chicago Bear. I feel blessed every week getting to watch 58 protect whoever the quarterback has been throughout his young career. And honestly, I think this game against Washington might be the best of his young career. Not just because he was moving dudes in the run game and really was the catalyst for pulling together a very anemic run game. We know the Bears did not have a lot of success on the ground early in the year. Darnell Wright really made a difference with that. They started running the ball to the outside a little bit more. That is DeAndre Swift's bread and butter. That is where he's best as a rusher, and Darnell Wright was able to help him take full advantage of that. But also, he was a very, very good pass protector in this game. I don't care what the PFF grade says, Darnell Wright was awesome. So we're going to go ahead and take a look here. First play is going to be a pass protection play. And I'm going to be upfront, this isn't like some crazy block or anything, but this is textbook performance. This is very, very good here from Darnell Wright. So we're going to bring a man in motion, and we're going to have Wright on an island. We've got DeAndre Swift on a little bit of a delay route here, kind of checking the linebacker. And we've got, like I said, Wright on an island with Dorrance Armstrong. Very respectable defensive end, someone I have really enjoyed watching so far this season. So we'll go ahead again. Really nice kick set there. Darnell Wright gets himself in position. I don't know why I said his name so weird there. But you can see we've got the hands up. We're ready. And Darnell Wright's goal here is you want to attack the pec and the bicep on the opposite side, right? That is where you want the hand placement. And that's not quite going to happen. You can see we've got a hand on the pec, the right pec, and a hand on the left shoulder. So not ideal hand placement, but given the positioning of the two players, it's understandable. Again, at the end of the day, all we want to do is wall off for Caleb Williams. He's about to find Olamide Zaccheaus right about here, so don't have to do a whole lot, but we play this perfectly. We stand the defender up. You can see Wright tries to reset the hands. The defender goes for the inside, but at that point, Caleb has gotten this ball off. It's just a really solid rep to start with here. Nothing too crazy, but like Darnell Wright handles this. You put him on an island against a good defensive end, and he does not get beat. So very, very big fan of this play, but I promise if that's not exciting you, there is plenty of excitement to come in the following plays. Moving now to our second play on the day, we're going to stick in the first quarter with another pass blocking rep, and this time we're going to be taking on Von Miller here on the left side of your screen. So let's go ahead, get into this. We're going to bring a man in motion, snap the football, and the first thing of note is DJ Moore here. Now, DJ Moore isn't actually going to help with this block by providing any sort of true physical assistance, right? This isn't going to be a double team or a combo block, but instead, what is happening here is DJ Moore is going to have a delayed release where, technically speaking, he could give a little bit of a chip, but he doesn't for the sake of being able to run his route. And the main reason for this is to sell to Von Miller here that DJ Moore could cut inside. That way he doesn't attack the outside shoulder of Darnell Wright. We know Von Miller, that is where he's made his career. That is where he's made his money, is bending that arc with some of the best bend of all time. Now, I know he's a little bit on the older side, doesn't quite have that bend anymore, but he's still able to beat tackles on that outside shoulder, especially with Darnell Wright having a brace on that outside shoulder. You want to protect that at all costs. So instead, Von Miller goes, okay, well, I don't want to have to deal with two guys. There's going to be a little bit of a gap in here, so I can either go for the chest or I can go for the inside shoulder, which is just going to make Darnell Wright's job a little bit easier. You'll see here DJ Moore just kind of pats him on the back. He's like, all right, Darnell, you got this. I'm going to go catch this football. But beyond that, we see Darnell Wright leads with his hands up, as you want him to do. Von Miller swipes these hands away instinctively, and you can see he actually gets pretty good positioning on Darnell Wright, gets his hands up inside the chest, and he's going to try to bull rush him. So Darnell Wright here is going to execute, in my mind, what is a variation on a very common technique, which is called a snatch and trap technique. If you watched the first game between the Bears and the Vikings this year, you probably would have seen Darnell Wright get flagged for executing this technique. It's very common. It was pretty stupid. They called it a hold. It wasn't a hold. I believe he was against Jalen Redmond. But the idea here is the defender in this moment is leaning all of his weight into Darnell Wright. If you are to swipe the arms down, then he is going to naturally fall to the ground and then you fall on top of him. So you snatch the arms and then you trap the defender, right? Instead, because Von Miller leans the body weight, but a little bit further in without his hands, you can see Darnell Wright is actually going to grab the shoulders, and he is going to pull him down and execute the same technique, which allows Caleb Williams to get this ball out. This is not a hold. It's not an illegal block. It is just using the rusher's momentum against him. You can see when he's trying that bull rush, it's either drop your anchor or use that momentum to bring him to the ground. Darnell Wright does the latter, and it opens up for Caleb to throw this pass. But overall, good pass blocking rep here, getting a little physical against one of the league's all-time greats. Next play here at the top of the second quarter, we're finally going to get into some of that run blocking film. Got Darnell here over on the right side of the screen. And first of all, I want to take a moment to appreciate this play design because this is awesome from Ben Johnson. So you'll see we'll send a man in motion and we end up handing this ball to DJ Moore. Caleb fully sells that it's going to be some sort of toss to Kyle Monungai, and instead you're getting the ball in the hands of your best playmaker. So taking a look at Darnell Wright's role here, pretty self-explanatory. We've got a combo block. So the idea here is him and Jonah Jackson, known by some Bears fans as Darnell Left. They look very, very similar. They are going to combo block here on the defensive tackle, and then Wright is going to climb to the second level and block Bobby Wagner. So take a look here at how Darnell Wright executes this combo block, because he just throws his weight into the defensive lineman. I believe it's Daron Payne, and that puts Jonah Jackson in a prime position to get his hands where he wants them and control Payne at the point of attack. You see he ends up walling off perfectly there for DJ Moore right about here, showing that. This would not be possible if not for that little hip, that little, I don't want to put this little hip bump from Darnell Wright, I guess you could say. I was trying to think if there's a more fun way to say that, but just that little bump there ends up throwing him in position for Jonah Jackson. And then we take a look at Darnell Wright, and he's going up against Bobby Wagner. Again, very old player, but still very smart, very savvy, and very good downhill. That's kind of the one thing Bobby has in his repertoire at this point. And you can see Darnell Wright here. We rewind it just a hair. He's going to get upfield, engage with Wagner, and he is going to drive him away. Now you see Wagner does end up kind of looping around him here at the end and ends up near DJ Moore. But in Darnell Wright's mind, you can see we're opening up a lane for DJ Moore to go straight up. He ends up having to maneuver a little bit inside because of the way some of the blocking ends up. You see we got a man on the ground here. Drew Dahlman isn't exactly holding his block. We've got the DB here. There's a couple different things going on. But at this point, I mean, Darnell Wright, he's convinced that he's done his job, and by all accounts, he has. We rewind it again, you see combo block, drive him out, and the lane becomes pretty clear right about here. If all is to go well, we are running this ball either here or here, right? And in either case, Darnell Wright is doing exactly what he needs to do. Back to the back, something I preach often when I'm talking about fullbacks is lead blockers, and that is going to open up for DJ Moore. Takes us all the way up to the 1 yard line. Bobby Wagner doesn't make the tackle. Even if he is in the area at the end, he is effectively taken out of this play. So all in all, you can say that two key blocks on this play, one on Daron Payne and one on Bobby Wagner, were both only possible because of Darnell Wright's contributions. This play right here is my favorite of the night from Darnell Wright, so we're just going to go ahead and dive into it. I'm not going to waste your time here. We're going to send DeAndre Swift out on a toss play, and Darnell Wright is the lead blocker for him. He is the primary blocker. He is out in space, essentially serving as Swift's bodyguard. His job is to make sure that no one can get their hands on Mr. DeAndre Swift. The reason I love this play so much is because, in other words, Darnell Wright here has become the fullback on this play. In essence, this is a fullback rep. I understand he's a lineman, and he started off lined up at right tackle, but listen, the Bears don't have a fullback. It makes me very sad. I stay up at night longing for someone to just don a number in the 40s and block for DeAndre Swift. So give me this. Just let me have it. And also, Ben Johnson, if you're listening, Darnell Wright has the athleticism, as you're going to see on this play, to line up at fullback. Just saying. You like to get cute, you like to get crazy, you like to do crazy things. What's crazier than a toss play on the 30-yard line where your right tackle lines up at fullback and kills a corner, right? I'm just saying, you know, the people are asking for this, the people being me. I need it injected straight into my bloodstream. But actually taking a look at the play here, we run into a little bit of an issue here because, as we know, football is a numbers game, right? You want a hat on a hat with blockers. I don't know about you, but I was always taught that 1, 2 is greater than 1, right? We've got 2 commanders, 1 bear. It's a little bit of a problem. However, there's something they don't teach you in traditional math class, and that is that Darnell Wright actually equals 2, because he is going to take care of both of these blockers. You see here, or both of these defenders as the blocker, excuse me. You see we're going to engage with the first defensive back. 23 is rerouted, and he immediately turns around and gets lit up by Darnell Wright, and that opens up for DeAndre Swift to take this for 19 yards. You see that 1-2 combo. DeAndre Swift, he has a man to beat, can't quite get there, but he does end up extending this run a decent little bit. The other thing I love about this play that I haven't really mentioned yet is the fact that this is a toss play to DeAndre Swift. Like, hello? This is such an obvious play call, right? Like, we need more of this. That is one of the big differences between the Bears' run game against Washington and before the bye, is we were getting DeAndre Swift the ball out in space outside of the tackles. That is where he's at his best as a runner. We know this. It is tried and true. That is where he's always going to be the most successful. He doesn't have to read the field as much. He doesn't have to make as many split-second decisions. He has a little bit more time to think, more room to maneuver. It makes it easier on him because, as a player with bad vision who isn't good between the tackles, he's going to struggle when you just try to run him between the tackles. So, as a whole, everything about this play was absolutely perfect, and it was only possible because of Darnell Wright and his contributions as the lead blocker for DeAndre Swift. Moving ourselves now into the third quarter, we've got Darnell Wright with another pass blocking rep, this time against former Chicago Bear Jacob Martin, with a very short and non-memorable tenure under Matt Eberflus. So we'll go ahead, bring a man in motion, snap this football, and the first thing of note is Darnell Wright flashing that right hand. Some of you might be asking, what's the point of that? Why are we flashing the hand? Why are we not just getting our hands up and preparing for impact, right? Well, the point of this is basically to bait the defender into showing you his plan, right? Everything is about timing for both an offensive tackle and a defensive lineman. So with Jacob Martin, when he deploys his hands and begins whatever pass rush move he's going to attempt, Darnell Wright wants to be able to be in control and respond accordingly. If he deploys his hands a little bit after that, he can get his hands exactly where he wants him, while Martin's more worried about his hand placement, right? If you can catch him in the middle of his move, you're going to be in good shape. So you see we're going to sell that hand. Martin begins his pass rush move and goes for the chest of Darnell Wright. Darnell Wright does a great job responding by getting his inside hand on the bicep of Jacob Martin and the outside hand, the right hand that he flashed, up into the pec muscle of Jacob Martin. By doing this, he is in control. This is ideal hand placement in this scenario. And now he is, as I said, going to be in control in this matchup. You see, Martin is going to recognize this. He panics a little bit, so he goes for a different approach. He switches up his move on the fly. Obviously, this is not a position you ever want to be in as a pass rusher, leaning that far over yourself into your opponent. So he's going to try to use that to his advantage, resets the feet. He goes for the inside shoulder of Darnell Wright, and then he's going to cut this back out across. Wright's not paying any mind to it. You see, he walls him off here. Martin goes for a swim move. Wright does a good job of wrapping him up for just long enough to not draw a hold, but long enough to impede the rush of Jacob Martin to kind of force him around the corner. And you can see Caleb rips this ball to Mr. Romadunze, which we'll take a look at the yards after catch in a moment. This is a 21-yard pickup. But you see, even if Martin won this rep, number one, Caleb's gotten the ball out. But number two, I drew that poorly. It really doesn't seem like his momentum is carrying him to Caleb. He's going to be a little bit too wide. And it's because Darnell Wright, this is actually a better angle to show that. You can see he's a little wide here. That is because of the way Darnell Wright approached this here by kind of pushing him downfield. So all in all, a really good job here. Again, you flash the hand, good hand placement, you mirror the defender, and then you push him downfield. And then Rome, again, I got to pause every couple seconds to try not to piss off the demonetization people, but Rome is going to pick up 21. That's a good play. Just really, really good from Darnell Wright there, who, as I said at the top of this video, known for being a run blocker, but it's definitely a damn good pass blocker as well. Next play we're going to be taking a look at here is still in the third quarter, not too long after the last one. And honestly, this is one of the most talked about plays from this game, but unfortunately, not a lot of people are talking about Darnell Wright on this. I think he does a great job, and you'll see why in a second. But the primary points of emphasis on this play have been Caleb Williams' throw, Luther Burden's awesome moves after the catch, and Troy Aikman's terrible assessment of what happened on the play. But we're not here to talk about Aikman being a little bit biased on Monday night. We're here to talk about Darnell Wright being a baller. So the first thing to note here with the play is that it's actually going to be a little bit of play action. So obviously we're trying to sell the run. We're trying to make it seem with the line here that everyone is down blocking, including Darnell Wright, who is going to have to take advantage of poor Jacob Martin once again. Martin is going to play this as if it's a run play, and we're going to get a nice little 1-2 from Durham Smythe and Darnell Wright here. You see, we're going to get the chip, and then Darnell Wright's just going to lay out Jacob Martin. We'll watch that again in full speed. Just buries him on the ground, but he's not done. A good lineman never leaves their prey unfinished. So Darnell Wright is going to go stand over Jacob Martin, wait for him to get back up, and then push him downfield so he can't make the play, can't come after Caleb Williams. He does not have a chance in hell on this play. You see Caleb Williams delivers this ball perfectly on time right to where Luther Burden was going to get it. And then Burden makes a couple nice cuts here. I just had to show this at the end because, oh my goodness, Luther Burden is so exciting. But yeah, Darnell Wright, pretty straightforward, just absolutely kills Jacob Martin. And I do love the little shove at the end here, because not only is it funny to watch, yeah, I just buried you, and also here's one for the road. But it's an effective shove because you're throwing the defender off his trajectory. He's not going to be able to get anywhere near Caleb. It's just a good block all around on a very, very exciting and explosive play from the Bears offense. Second to last play here is going to be a run play. We're going to go ahead and jump into it because it's pretty straightforward. Blocking here on the right side, we've got Drew Dahlman lined up on the defensive tackle. Jonah Jackson's going to chip and then pick up the linebacker. So Darnell Wright needs to kick out the defensive end and enable DeAndre Swift to run through the B gap here. Wright does a great job here. He has such an important block on the play, and he is fully aware of that fact. So you see we're going to get a hand on the inside or the right pec here on the outside, and then on the shoulder. Now, I know I said earlier in the game you want it on the pec and on the bicep, but if you put it on the bicep, you're likely not able to push the defender downhill. That helps, right? Being able to do that helps a lot. And then when the defender slingshots himself back up, Darnell Wright does a great job of getting his hand in the upper chest of him, jolting him upright, and preventing him from getting near DeAndre Swift. That little jolt right there opens up for DeAndre Swift. He's going to pick up 14 here. Just a very subtle move to create that separation. He doesn't have a chance in hell on this play. Even if it looks like Darnell Wright loses a little control there, he is fully in control of the situation, does exactly what he needs to do, and that is why he is one of the best run-blocking right tackles in the entire sport. And the final play we're going to take a look at here in the fourth quarter, I want to paint a picture for you before we jump into it. 1:14 left. The Bears are down by 2. They're marching down the field to try and get in field goal range. It's 2nd and 12 after they ran a passing play where nothing got open, so Caleb just gave himself up. They need something to get them in field goal range. And Darnell Wright is going to rise to the occasion and make not one, but 2 key blocks on this play. So we'll go ahead, take a look here. First thing, very similar to what we saw earlier. Toss play with Darnell Wright out as the lead blocker. Love it. Absolutely love the call. But before we even get to him actually lead blocking, something more important happens, arguably. And that is something that could have blown up this play. Number 52 here completely dusts Olamide Zaccheaus. God love Olamide. He had the drop, but I think he's been pretty solid for us this year. He's going to struggle blocking a defensive end, right? Defensive end gets over top of him. Darnell Wright catches this out of the corner of his eye, extends an arm, and jolts him back. That little bit saves DeAndre Swift. If he does not see him, DeAndre Swift is getting taken down right about here. right? He might break the tackle, but his job's a hell of a lot harder. Just that little push opens up and takes 52 effectively out of the play. He's not able to recover. He's not fast enough. He's not quick enough. Instead, all he can do is chase in pursuit. But job's not done. Job's not finished. You've got Mikey Sanders still, the corner, coming up. So what's Darnell Wright going to do? We're going to take him out as well. Just get around him real quick. No hold, because it's only for a moment. Pull him out of the play. Open up for DeAndre Swift. And like I said, he picks up a total of 15 here. Bears kneel the ball on the next play to get the ball in the center of the field. Jake Moody hits the game-winning kick with virtually no time left. And that's all she wrote. You get your revenge from last year. And it's all set up by, once again, Darnell Wright not making just one crucial block on this play, but two. We're going to run it back one more time. 1, 2, and DeAndre Swift picks up 15 yards. And that is going to do it for this video, folks. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like down below, as it does help out the channel a ton. Shows your support, shows you care. I really do appreciate it. Also, make sure to subscribe for more NFL content coming your way throughout the rest of the regular season and beyond. I'm a Bears fan. If you're watching this, you're probably a Bears fan. I'm going to be making more Bears content. I feel like we can have a nice little thing going on here if you just hit that subscribe button and come back when I talk about our favorite team. Also, make sure to comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this video, about Darnell Wright, about the Bears-Commanders game, anything like that. I'd love to hear from you. I love having conversations with you all in the comments, so definitely make sure to do that as well. And with all that being said, above all else, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it, because you're all wonderful people, and you truly do deserve it.
Had a chance on the throwback. This was an ill-advised throw. What an unbelievable catch by Cole Kmet. And he cups it too. No movement when he hits the ground, tucked up against his shoulder. Wow. Using that